What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here at the Playbook Sports Podcast, coming at you with the Dallas Cowboy preview to their game in Week 3 when they visit the Arizona Cardinals at 3:25 Central Time. Obviously, this is going to be a barn and burner game of the afternoon. I'm just kidding. You got the 2-0 Dallas Cowboys, who's consensus top 3 team in the league across many power rankings, against the Arizona Cardinals, who are probably a bottom 3, if not the worst team in the league on everyone's power rankings. 2-0 Cowboys coming into the 0-2 Cardinals. This is one that, as a Cowboy fan, you don't want to look ahead. You don't want to ever take opponent too lightly. You don't want to ever not show your respect for your opponent. But this is one coming into the week and coming into the year that you circled, and you're like, this should be an absolute ass beating. We're going to have a really good Sunday, Week 3. So let's go ahead and dive into the matchup. Obviously, I'm recording this on Friday, the 22nd. So obviously the Trayvon Diggs news have came out of Dallas injuring his knee in practice this week. MRI confirms it's a torn ACL. Very bad look for Dallas going forward. But that's why you go out and you get Stephon Gilmore in the offseason. And, instead of having 2 number 1 lockdown corners, at least you got yourself a little more depth. And now you at least still have Gilmore as a number 1 corner versus relying on a couple of younger guys to do all of the work this year. So prayers out to the Diggs family. Selfishly, we're not going to get a Stephon Diggs versus Trayvon Diggs matchup when the Cowboys go to Buffalo this year. But big loss for Dallas's defense. Hopefully they can adjust around it and get some guys in position to get comfortable enough moving forward to where this won't hamper them down the stretch against a team like a 49ers or a team like the Eagles. They have 2 dynamic receivers that you can't just put Stephon Gilmore out there and tell him to lock both of them down, because you can't. So let's dive into the key matchups of this specific game this Sunday, Week 3 in Arizona. First key matchup that comes to mind on the news of Trayvon Diggs is going to be Jordan Lewis against the Arizona Cardinals slot receiver. Whoever they want to line up in the slot, Jordan Lewis is going to be the cornerback 3. Season ended early last year with a foot injury. Came back, played 10 snaps. Last week was his first game back from injury. So he's really getting thrown into the fire now. Would have really loved for him to have another week or 2 of practice and game reps to get comfortable and get back to that game speed. But he's just going to get thrown into the fire immediately. It's either him or Noah Igbenogany. And Nate, I know how much you love Igbenogany. There's a reason a first-round pick is no longer with the team that drafted him. So hopefully we're not, relying on him to have a lot of big leverage, big momentum reps on the defensive side. So can Jordan Lewis step in? Is he fully healthy? Is he back up to game speed? Can he hold down one of these 5'9" receivers the Arizona Cardinals have? That's my first key matchup of the game on Sunday. Second key matchups could be James Conner against the Dallas front 7. If you look at the Arizona Cardinals stats this year, they're not a pass first team. They're not a pass happy team. Their leading receiver through 2 games has like 83 yards, and Marquise Brown, that's about 40 a game. I think Josh Dobbs had like 360 something through 2 games. So that's about 180 passing a game. They want to run the ball. They want to get this clock out as fast as possible. And James Conner is going to be the way that they could do that on Sunday. Can Dallas's front 7 stay as stifling as it's been the last few weeks? Or can Arizona establish a run game early and maybe sneak out a win against Dallas in a game where they just hold time of possession if Dallas can't stop that running attack? Third key to victory here is going to be Paris Johnson Jr. The key matchup is going to be Paris Johnson Jr. against whatever DN Dallas lines up over the right tackle, rookie right tackle, whether it's DeMarcus Lawrence, whether it's Micah Parsons, whether it's Dorrance Armstrong. I mean, Dallas is so embarrassment of riches at the D-line position, and they like to move everybody around. I can really see them attacking that right side of the Arizona line with a rookie right tackle. And then you have Willie Hernandez, who is well known in the Cowboy organization as a former Giant at right guard as well. So I really look to Dallas to really attack that right side of the Arizona offensive line on Sunday. Fourth key matchup here is going to be Kaiser White against Dallas's tight ends, whether it's Jake Ferguson, Peyton Hendershot, or Luke Schoonmaker. Whatever one it is, Kaiser White is kind of the biggest playmaker on this Arizona defense at that middle linebacker position, leading their team in tackles this year. It's going to be up to him. Can you stop these tight ends across the middle? Obviously, the first 2 weeks, Dallas has really been held down in their tight end production. They had a couple of touchdowns last week, but they haven't had more than 12 receiving yards in 2 games from their tight ends. Can Kaiser White hold them down? Can he keep Dallas's tight ends at bay as they've been kept at bay the last 2 weeks? So let's jump into the X factors here quickly. We'll start with Arizona. I have one on each side of the ball for them. Usually I do one on each side of the ball for both teams, but I double dipped on Dallas's defense because looking at Arizona's defense, I really don't see a matchup where Dallas is going to need an X factor offensively to win this game. I think they could sleepwalk and win this game offensively, at least. So let's start with Arizona. X factors. I already mentioned them. Kaiser White leading the team in tackles with 16 in 2 games. He has a sack on the year, and then he's leading the team with 2 tackles for loss as well. Biggest playmaker in the middle of their defense on their front 7. He's going to have to step up and be an X factor in this game if Arizona has any chance to keep this competitive. And looking at the offense, I chose Zach Ertz as a X factor for the Arizona Cardinals, a player that's very familiar with the Dallas Cowboys, being a Philadelphia Eagle for most of his career. Few games along the stretch when he was with Philly where he really crushed my Cowboys, but looking at his numbers over his career, he only averages about 43 yards a game against Dallas and less than a third of a touchdown a game. So if Dallas can hold him down, he is the most targeted receiver on this Arizona Cardinals team, and he is second on the team in receiving yards this year. So obviously he's a predominant weapon for Joshua Dobbs. And can he be an X factor for Arizona? Can he come up with a couple of clutch third down catches to move the possession or move the chains and keep the possession going? Can he snag a touchdown for them? Looking at this game as, a biased Cowboy fan, obviously I say there's no way Arizona's getting in the end zone this game, just looking at Dallas's defense and looking at that personnel on the Arizona Cardinals offensive side of the ball. But can Zach Ertz get in the end zone? Can they make this competitive? Can they make this game competitive? So let's talk about Dallas's X factors here. The first one that comes to mind, I already talked about him, Jordan Lewis, second game back from injury, only 10 snaps last week. Can he step up and be that slot, or are we going to rely on Noah Igbenogany or Donovan Wilson coming back from injury, or are we going to try to have a rotating safety as that nickel corner if we can't trust either Jordan Lewis or Noah Igbenogany? So Jordan Lewis is one of my X factors for Dallas's defense coming into this game this week. The second one's going to be, and remember this name, he might not be an X factor this game. I'm choosing him as an X factor here because he deserves the recognition from his first 2 weeks, and he's going to be a huge part of this Dallas defense going forward. Osa, I always pronounce this, Idigizua. I always pronounce that wrong. He has 6 tackles on the year. That's tied for 5th on Dallas's defense. He has 3 sacks. That's tied for the lead with Micah Parsons, and he has 3 tackles for loss, second to only Micah Parsons. Big force in the middle of that defensive line at the D tackle position. You bring in Mozzie Smith, but guess what? You got Idigizua right here, who is just as good, if not better, setting the tone, and this is how we're going to do it. He is an X factor for me on this Dallas defense in this game on Sunday. So let's get to the 5 keys to victory here on Sunday for the Dallas Cowboys to beat the Arizona Cardinals. And yes, I am very serious with these keys. The first key to a Cowboys victory, show up. Show up to the field. The second key to victory, have 11 players on the field. The third key to victory, don't get every single player disqualified. The fourth key to victory, score 10 plus points, because I don't think Arizona is going to be able to score 10 plus points against this Dallas defense, even without Trayvon Diggs. And the fifth and final key to victory, limit the Arizona Cardinals' first half surge. First 2 weeks against 2 NFC East opponents, they've outscored those 2 NFC East opponents 33-10, outscoring the Giants 20-0 last week in the first half, before ultimately, choking and losing the game, as I'm sure they wanted to for their draft position and future of their franchise and their tank to get Caleb Williams. Limit the 33-10 first half through 2 weeks. If you're down 10 points at halftime, maybe there's a panic mode. I don't really see Dallas looking ahead in this spot. They have the Patriots at home next week. Patriots are also 0-2. Obviously, the Niners week 5 would be a look ahead next week in the Patriot game, but I don't see them looking ahead. Just don't get complacent. Don't disrespect your opponent. Don't overlook your opponent. Just come out early, take care of business, bury them early, get this over with. All right, so final score prediction. Let's go ahead and get into it. I have it 33-9 Dallas Cowboys. A bunch of field goals again this week as last week. If you don't have Brandon Aubrey on your fantasy team, go out and get him, because the Dallas Cowboys will move the ball. Their defense will grant them with short fields, and ultimately their offense might stall out. But guess what? This former professional soccer player is 7 for 7 on field goals on the year. I probably just jinxed him by saying that. But go out and pick him up, and I look for him to be a big part of this game in Arizona as well. And thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. We'll have the recap video for you probably on Tuesday coming out, and hopefully we'll see your 3-0 Dallas Cowboys on Tuesday with the recap. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you Tuesday.